بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم my beloved ones ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we are going to continue our sessions on Manasik al-Hajj. We had stopped on we completed the text of Manasik al-Hajj, but then the questions and answers about from after Muzdalifah were left. So we'll try to cover though there are a lot of repeated questions. I don't know how I should go with it, but inshallah we'll try to just answer the questions and see if it's repeated. Khalas, it's repeated. What can we do? So let's see, where were we now? Okay, so we are like stoning the big pillar on the day of Eid. Remember, Amal of day of Eid, we have three: stoning the big pillar, number one; number two, the sacrifice; number three, exiting the state of Ihram by either shaving or clipping off the nail or clipping of the hair. And we said that the sequence needs to be there. So first the pelting of the stone, and there were some exceptional cases we did. So Amal day of Eid, the first thing we did was pelting of the the stones, stoning the big pillar of the shaitan, Jamratul Aqaba. So the question number one says that if someone does not stone the big pillar of the shaitan on the day of Eid, intentionally, deliberately, so obviously the Hajj will be invalid. Okay, if someone did not stone the shaitan's pillar, the big shaitan's pillar, okay, the big pillar of the shaitan, let's say like that, until the evening happened without an excuse. We're not talking about excuse. Excuses we discussed. There are lots of room in understanding the jamarat and the excuses. We are talking about the no excuse, deliberately, intentionally, knowingly, then his Hajj will be invalid. So it is obligatory, though it's not a pillar, okay? But where do we understand pillar and non-pillar? Pillars, pillars of Hajj, even if they left unintentionally, Hajj becomes invalid. But the non-pillar, they non-essential obligations of Hajj, like they're not arkan, they're not pillar. If problem happen unknowingly, unintentionally, circumstances compelling, in that case, the Hajj will be correct. He might need to pay kafara or redo the thing or qada or that, but the Hajj will not become invalid. Yes, if intentionally somebody leaves an obligation, then obviously Hajj will become invalid. It's same like Salat. Like in Salat, you have like some are pillars of Salat. If you intentionally or unintentionally abandon the ruku', kiss your Salah goodbye. So no way. I mean, you did not do the ruku', you went into the second sajda one, sajda two, you went to another rukun, and you did not do. You cannot go back now because you are now in the second rukun. So your salat will be invalid. However, if you even if it was unintentional missing, but what if you missed a surah? Okay, it's wajib. Intentionally, you don't perform surah in the salat, your salat is invalid. However, if somebody misses the surah, the salat will not be invalid. It will be valid, but you might need to, in certain obligations, you might need to do sujood sahu. In certain obligations missed, like sajda and tashahud, you might need to do qada. So the same thing in the amal of Hajj, there are certain amal, you miss it, it causes invalidation of Hajj, even if it was unintentional. Okay. Uh, but there are obligations that are non-essential. So those non-essential obligations, if intentionally not done, Hajj becomes invalid. So here, question number one indicates that if someone does not perform the does not stone the big pillar of Satan on the day of Eid intentionally until the evening falls, like until the night falls, he was able to strike it in the daytime. It's like a long day there. So his Hajj will be invalid. So can somebody delay the Rami to the next day? Can somebody delay? Obviously, if it is the day of Eid, really scientifically, with all the religious, then obviously you cannot delay. But what if it was not? Obviously, you have to delay. If it was not the day of Eid, you can't strike the big pillar of Satan on the day of Arafat. Okay, so you have to wait until the next day falls, and then you pelt the shaitan on the day of Eid, which is the proper day of Eid. So he says that if somebody does not know, or if somebody cannot, if it was not feasible, he knew that if it would not be feasible for him to slaughter on the day of Eid, because the time until he arrives, until he done, is a very slow, or traffic and this and that. He knows they have been in the past in similar situations. So what should he do? He knows I cannot slaughter on the day of Eid, give the sacrifice. So will it be permissible for him to delay the stoning of the big pillar of the Satan, which is supposed to be on the day of Eid, to the next day with the sacrifice? He says, no, you have to pelt. And then stoning does not come after the sacrifice. Before the sacrifice, doesn't have anything to do with sacrifice. You just stone the shaitan and sacrifice tomorrow if you're not able to sacrifice today. Question number 3. The ruling of stoning on the day of Eid, 10th al-Hajj, is is a day of Eid. If somebody does before the sunrise, because sunrise, everybody goes there, you see, and it's a battle zone. At least in those days when the shaitan was like a poor guy and it was not promoted to big wall. So it's a battle zone. So therefore, this guy says before sunrise, I'll just go and pelt stone the big pillar and finish it off, rather than going in the time of after sunrise, where everybody's there and people are fighting to reach the pillar of the shaitan. So so he said, and so the question is that he was not from those who have the permission to do at night. Remember, there are people, elderly, women, their helpers, and those who are not able to do it on the day of Eid. They can do it at night before the sunrise. So he says if somebody did it and he was not from those who were permitted, who were from those who are exempt from stoning in the daytime. So he said that he should repeat the stoning after the sunrise. Let's say if the Eid day was done, then he can do it next day. And until we said that there's a sequence, if the days of Tashriq or the day of Dhul Hajj is passed or he has gone back home, then he can do it next year either by himself or either by appointing someone to do on his behalf. So these details have been mentioned in ruling number 380. So you can go back if you want to know further. So it's in ruling number 380 in the text of the Manasik. Okay. So you have to, if you are not from those exempt, you have to stone the shaitan after the sunrise. Okay. So here the question is, let's say somebody is generous, or no, somebody's angry on shaitan, or no, whatever reasons. He stoned extra stoning, more than 7. So will his stoning will be correct? Obviously, the 7 will be correct. But we are talking about the extra. The extra, will it affect his rami? Like in tawaf, you cannot do extra rounds. Okay. So will it affect his rami? So he says that if you had intended with this extra stone that it is part of your rami, okay, obligatory part. If you intend like that, then obviously it will be prohibited because it is like innovating things which are not prescribed. The prescribed is 7, not 8, not 10. So all these 3 extras, when you're intending that it is part of Rami, then it is going to be innovating something in religion which has not been prescribed. And okay, I did one extra with the intention. So is my Rami going to be invalid? I have to redo the whole thing. He says, yes, if you you made an intention, number 1, that it is part of the Rami. Number 2, I'm achieving the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this extra part. So obviously the Rami will be invalid. Otherwise, it will not be invalid. As I said, 7 will be counted okay. But the 8th, 9th, 10th, it will be extra. Doesn't have any meaning for that. However, if those 8, 9, 10, the extra ones, if you had made an intention of achieving the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through it, because Allah did not ask you to, Allah is not pleased with you doing extra stuff. So how can you please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that extra things? Okay. So you're making up things in religion. So that's why he says that if he had made intention against the intention of achieving the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you want to achieve the nearest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by fulfilling the command of Allah. And command of Allah is 7. So if you want to hit 8 and the 8th one, you consider it to be part of the Rami, obligatory part of the Rami. And you were stubborn in that, and you're going against. They told you, no, don't do that. No, I'm going to do that. But so you were against the intention of seeking the nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by fulfilling the thing the way He wants it, and you want to do something by yourself, the way your style. So then your Rami will be invalid. Otherwise, your Rami will not be invalid if you did not have any kind of intention of stubbornness against the religion, against the Sharia. Your intention, your Rami, your stoning will not be invalid. So when is the stoning invalid? If you are stubborn, if you're insisting, if you just want to say, oh, what do you guys know? I'm just going to do. Khalas, I did extra with the name of Allah, thawab, and this and that, and with the intention of being obligatory part. But then there's obligatory 7. Why 8? Why are you making 9? Why are you making extra things? And it is not prescribed in the Sharia to do extra Rami. So if it was intentional stubbornness, which is against achieving the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not following Allah, you're following yourself, you're following shaitan. So that doesn't help you to achieve nearness to Allah. So then in that case, his stoning will be invalid. Otherwise, if he did not have this mean intention and stubbornness, his stoning will be okay. And the extra will be considered extra, doesn't have any value. Okay. So if somebody hits 7 stones, okay, with the intention of Rami, of stoning. So, but he stones one extra stone just to make sure that if some stone might not have reached, then this stone will cover up. So actually he's using a precautionary measure. He is not intending to increase. Okay. So he says is it sufficient to stone the first stone from the 7 stones, that he stones one after another, intending that each one of them is the stone which is supposed to be pelted, which is supposed to be thrown or pelted. But he stones, he throws more than one, so that he confirms that at least one of them has reached the pillar. So here, this is my first stone. I threw another one. This is my first stone. My intention is this is my first stone, but I stoned 2-3 stones just to make sure. Now it's easy to hit. Before it was like one pillar and so many stones are coming. And for some, it would be difficult to focus on your own stone among the 100 stones. And then, so you want to make sure that at least one of them hit, but you hit more than one. So he says, as long as the intention is one and you throw extra as a precautionary measure, then so that you know that it at least one has reached the target, then there is no problem in it. Okay. So he says, La ba'sa bidhalik, there's no harm in it. So the question says, is it sufficient in stoning the first stone, for example? That means every stone he does like that. But for example, how is he going to stone? One of the 7 stones, for example, he stones like several stones. Um, uh, like it's not like even this. It's like duf'a wahida. Okay. So remember, 7 stones throw like this, it's not acceptable. But you have a few stones. You threw them all together, intending one stone. You see? So this further clarifies the sentence, because sometimes these sentences are intertwined. I mean, the way question is phrased. He said, is it sufficient in when pelting first stone, for example, from the 7 stones, to stone several stones? So to pelt or to throw several stones in one go. Like you take a few 4 or 5 stones and you hit. Your intention is what? Not these 5 stones. Your intention is one of the 5 stones. Okay. So if your intention is one of the 5 stones and you throw 5 stones just to make sure that at least one hit the target, he says there is no problem in that. The problem is when you have 7 stones, you throw them all together. That was the problem. But if you are throwing 4 or 5 stones or whatever number of stones, and your intention is what? Your intention is only 1 stone from in that fistful of stones. So that is acceptable. Okay, there's no problem in that. Can someone pelt the stone from the left hand? Obviously, okay. Um, Optionally, he can. I mean, it doesn't matter. You stone with left hand or you stone with right hand. It's all stoning. With the foot, it was not. We said it with the foot, it was a problematic situation. But as long as you're stoning, the stones are going, be it from the right hand or the left hand, it doesn't matter. Optionally, you can stone with any hand. What if somebody was not able to throw due to the to throw the stones due to the severe crowd on the day of Eid? Is it possible for him to throw in the eve of 12, yani the evening before the 12th night time, or the 12th day? Or it would be obligatory upon him to appoint a representative to throw on his behalf uh, on the day of Eid? So the peculiarity of the first day, and for the stoning the big Shaitan is the day of Eid. So all these rulings we can see, they go around this point that can somebody delay? No. If you can't, appoint a representative, but do not delay. Okay, so question number 8. Yeah, so question number 7, one should appoint a representative, but not delay it for the next night or next day. So when can I appoint? When can I appoint someone to stone on my behalf? Okay, is it just a minor probability or even a major probability? He says no. If you are going to appoint a representative, you need to make sure that if you are going, not probability, no, there's no possibility, no, it is certainty that you know for sure that if you are going to go inside this battle zone and you are going to pelt the stone by yourself, then either you are going to be in a very critical, severe difficulty and severe hardship condition, or if it was going to severely harm you by getting inside that crowd. So either it will cause you difficulty or hardship, or it will cause you, it will be harmful for you to go and pelt by yourself. That's where the representation will be permissible. So the representation would not be permissible until the until there was a kind of confirmation or assurance that by himself, he goes by himself to pelt the stone, it will be causing him severe difficulty or severe hardship or fear of harm from being in that stoning position. Question number 9. Again, this is the same question about appointing a representative in a severe crowd on the day of Eid. So again, the answer is same, that if there was a severe harm, which is a considerable harm, okay, if he does by himself in the whole time, like from the sunrise till sunset, whole time for normal person, it is the whole time from sunrise till sunset. It's not from those exempt ones who left Muzdalifah earlier at night, eve of Eid. So if the fear was severe, okay, if he was afraid, that he would be it would cause him severe harm, which is severely considered harm if he goes by himself from the sunrise till sunset, or if it was going to cause him difficulty and hardship in a way that he could not tolerate that difficulty, then in this case, it will be permissible for him to appoint a representative. However, this is too peculiar and too itchy issue that just somebody appoints. So he comments, "Well, insanu ala nafsihi basir," that a human knows about himself. Because if you're going to cheat me, you can cheat me, but you can't cheat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you know about yourself whether it's going to cause you difficulty and hardship or not. So if you have confirmation that if you go inside you will become squished or whatever, then yeah. So he says a human is aware about himself whether when to appoint a representative. It's whenever you're not able to. And we'll take the last question for today. Um, yeah. Yeah, so the main important point we get from question number 9 is what? That the excuse continues, okay, in the entire time of Rami, from the sunrise till sunset. Again, another on representation. Let's say if a woman, she tries to strike the pillar several times. She can't. Too much crowd pushing here and there. And when she tries to targets her target, and whoops, somebody comes here and goes into the head of somebody or something. So she can't. She's vulnerable, weak, and people push him here and there, and she can't even stand stable until she makes her target and locks her target in and shoots the stone. So so in this case, will it be permissible for her when she's hopeless that she will never be able to strike in this condition? He says, yes, I mean, she can appoint a representative, okay, when she's hopeless from being able to pelt the stone by herself in the entire time of Rami. Yes, so yeah, I think we'll stop here and we'll continue inshallah in our upcoming session, and we'll try to cover up whatever is remaining. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.